Hi everybody and welcome back to Lost Genre Reddit Stories. This post is from the subreddit Am I the A-hole? Would I be the A-hole public? And it's by user FearlessArtist8558. Am I the a-hole for expecting my sister to finally pay me back for her wedding 5 years later? I, 32 female, am still so frustrated over this, and honestly, I need some outside perspective. 5 years ago, my sister, 30 female, got married and was struggling financially at the time. I stepped in to help and ended up covering a big chunk of her wedding costs, the venue deposit, catering, and decorations. We agreed she'd pay me back once she got back on her feet, and I trusted her. The problem is that every time I brought it up over the years, she'd brush it off with things like, "Don't worry about it," or "You're such a big help, just think of it as my gift from you." I didn't want to start family drama, so I let it slide, but it's always bothered me. Fast forward to last week, she calls asking if I can help her with a down payment for a new house. The amount she needs, pretty much the same as what she still owes me. I told her I'd be willing to help, but only after she pays me back for the wedding first. She got defensive immediately, saying it's been so long and that I'm being unfair for holding it over my head. She insists she thought I had just gifted her the money. Now, she's not speaking to me, and even my parents are trying to convince me to let it go for the sake of peace. But it feels like she's been taking advantage of my kindness for years, and I'm tired of pretending it's fine. So, am I the a-hole for expecting her to pay me back after all this time, or is she just avoiding accountability? No, OP, of course you're not the a-hole for expecting to be made whole after you lent her all that money. It definitely doesn't sound like it was just a couple of $100. I mean, she wants you to give her the same amount to put a down payment on a house. And your parents let it go for the sake of peace? Get the F out of here, man. If they come to me with that crap, I tell them, okay, then you pay me the money she owes me. That'll probably shut them up. And to your sister, no. I don't know if you can take her to small claims court. I'm pretty sure you can prove that you made all those payments because they came out of your account, so there must be documents or a trace. The only thing that you would need to get either in writing or through a recording is her admitting that you had lent her the money. But OP, no, you are most definitely not the a-hole, and I would not relent. Also, I'm guessing the lesson's learned. Unless you're expecting not to get paid back, never mix money with family. And what do you guys think? Let me know in the comment section, and now let's check out the community comments. Chibinoy says, not the a-hole. If she can't afford the down payment, she can't afford the house. How will she pay for insurance among other home costs? Will she expect you to pay for those as well? Next time you loan money you want back, write up a contract with terms, or if it's a large enough sum, small claims court. Disastrous Hyena 123 says, never lend family money you can't afford to lose. They rarely pay it back unless you set up official documents, and even then it's a struggle. Don't lend her any more money. It's not up to you to support her. If she can't afford the deposit, then she needs to save for a few more years. Tell your parents, it's not your job to help her out. That's their problem, and she's their daughter. Furious Marshmallow says, not the a-hole. She couldn't afford the wedding and she can't afford the house. It clearly wasn't a gift by virtue of the fact you kept bringing it up. She just thought if she wears you down, you'd give up. At least you won't lend her any money again. I'd also stop buying her birthday and Christmas presents and take it off the top of what she owes. Painstakingly. And Opie responds, I'll think about this idea. Light bulb emoji. Donna Znola says, I loaned my brother money to buy a trailer. Years later, due to divorce, I was living with my parents and 3 kids, using food stamps and welfare to get on my feet again. I asked him if he could pay me back. He looked at me as if I was a piece of crap and said, no way, I don't have that kind of money. Whether he did or didn't, it was his attitude that cut deep. I think I've spoken to him 3 times since then, 30 years ago. And Opie responds, they say it's people that makes others bad. After loaning him some money when he needed it, he's now acting like you're some burden on his shoulders. And Good Butterscotch 498 says she shouldn't be buying a house by any means, method. If she hasn't paid you back, she shouldn't be buying a house if she has to borrow the down payment. Your sister is gaslighting you. You can forget about the wedding if you want. I wouldn't. But don't loan her the down payment money under any circumstances. Not only will you not get your wedding money back, but you won't get your down payment loan back either. Bad credit risk. Liar. Overly entitled. The community agrees that OP is not the a-hole, that she should not make the loan and should not relent on getting paid. So now, let's move on to the update to see how this story ends. Wow, I didn't expect my post to get as much attention as it did. Thank you to everyone who commented. I read through hundreds of them, and honestly, it gave me the clarity and backbone I really needed. So, here's what happened after I posted. A few days later, my sister texted me out of the blue with this passive-aggressive message saying, "I hope you're happy. Mom's upset because we're fighting again. Money shouldn't come between family." I replied calmly that money isn't what's between us. It's her lack of honesty and accountability. She didn't like that. That night, she called me and launched into this emotional guilt trip about how hard things have been for her, how she and her husband are trying their best, and how it's just money. I told her point blank, it's not just money, it's about respect. You promised to pay me back, and you never did. Then I said something I'd been holding in for years. You only remember I exist when you need something. There was a long silence, then she hung up. Cue my parents stepping in. My mom called saying I'm creating division and that family doesn't keep score. My dad was more neutral but admitted that my sister does have a history of forgetting her debts. Apparently, she's borrowed from him too. Here's where things really turned. My brother-in-law actually reached out to me privately. He apologized, said he didn't realize I'd paid for so much of the wedding and that my sister had downplayed it as a small loan. He told me he'd talked to her about making things right. 2 days later, I got a transfer for exactly half the amount she owes me with a message. It's not the full repayment, but it's progress. What does she want? A parade for not paying her debt? The real kicker, my sister then posted this cryptic story on Facebook. So yeah, she's still being petty, but I honestly don't even care anymore. I finally stood up for myself, and that feels better than the money ever could. Verdict from me, I'm not the a-hole. I was just tired of being the family ATM with a smile. If this whole thing taught me anything, it's that boundaries don't make you cold. They protect you from being taken advantage of. Honestly, at this point, I'm starting to see this as an expensive lesson, but at least it came with clarity. I'll never make the same mistake twice, and she's officially off the financial help list for good. I can't afford it is about to become my new favorite phrase. I've learned the hard way that being generous with the wrong people just drains you. She's had 5 years to make things right, and I'm done being the easy target. In the future, if she needs a bailout, our parents can play hero this time. I've done my part, and then some. I'm not sinking with her again just because she refuses to take responsibility. Good for you, OP, and don't see this as progress, because the minute you do, she's not gonna pay the other half because she feels she's done enough. Now you double down, you don't relent until she pays the last penny. And if after that, she never talks to you again, good riddance, because she talks to you only when she wants something. So you'll probably live a better life. And on that note, here's wishing you the best, OP. Thanks so much for sharing and take care. And now let's move on to the next post that also has an update. This post is from the subreddit Am I the A-hole, and it's by user HotDragonfly8813. Am I the a-hole for telling my stepkids that I no longer view them as my kids? I'm 36 female and my husband is 42 male and has 2 daughters who are 16 and 13. My husband and I have been together for 8 years. For some context, the girls have a mom who's just not active in their life. She comes around once a year or every other year and stays for 2 to 3 months and then leaves. The problem is when she comes into town, the girls change. For example, after me and their dad got married, they started calling me mom, as they felt I was their mom. But when their mom came back, they would stop and call her mom and push me to the side. I understood why they did that then, as they were young and confused and were trying to please her. We put them in therapy, and their therapist had them apologize, and they tried to explain it. The next 2 times it happened, she told me to try and have a talk with them. Their mom decided not to come for the next 2 years, and it was a really peaceful 2 years. The kids were good, enjoying school, their new brother, and were just happy. This year, their mom decided to come. She came in August and stayed until about a week ago. This time, when she came, the girls changed completely. It started with not calling me mom, to saying disrespectful things to me and their dad, to them telling their brother they didn't like him and that he wasn't their real brother, and some other stuff. But the main thing they did that really hurt was I wasn't their mom and that I would never be, and that I'm a bad stepmom and their mom is their only mom. So last week, when their mom left, they slowly tried to crawl back and try to start calling me mom again. And I told them I didn't want them to call me that anymore. They looked shocked when I said that and asked why. I told them that they told me multiple times that I'm not their mom and that I'm a bad stepmom and that their mom is their only mom. So I said, I no longer view you as my kids. They looked hurt and went to tell their dad what I was saying, and he said it's between us. Their therapist thinks I was harsh, but I don't, as they are old enough to realize what's wrong to say and what's right. So am I the a-hole? Honestly, OP, in my opinion, no, you're not the a-hole. You're absolutely right. They're old enough to know that what they're saying is hurtful. Come on, 13 and 16. Maybe the 13 could have a little bit of slack, but I'm doubting it even so. In my opinion, the most hurtful thing they did was tell their brother that he's not a brother to them. That's just wrong. He's just a kid. I mean, he's maximum 8 years old. I don't really know, but maximum 8. Like, what's the point of saying that to him unless it's just to hurt somebody? What they said to you, of course, is very hurtful, and I'm not diminishing that. I'm just saying that you are at least well equipped as an adult to understand the stupidity of it and where it's coming from. But a little boy doesn't. So no, OP, you're not the a-hole. And if they want a relationship with you, the first thing they should do is acknowledge what they've done to the last word, apologize for it properly, and then maybe you can start to rebuild a relationship there. And what do you guys think? Let me know in the comment section. And now let's check out the community comments. Programmer Rich 6549 says, it sounds like their mom is in their ear telling them stuff, probably lies, about you and their dad. That's what it seems like is happening every time their mom shows up. They probably miss her and want her validation, so they listen to her. LissyPoo628 says, the biggest thing that stood out to me is that your husband had nothing to say except it's between the three of you. What the girls said to you and what you said to them was all very hurtful, and your husband shouldn't be turning a blind eye to this. These words are relationship altering, and he should be intervening to try and keep his family together and work it out. I understand where you're coming from and why you said what you said. I can't say for sure if I would have had the guts to say the words, but it sounds like they maybe needed to be said. KB4609 says, your girls need to understand everyone, even parents have feelings that can be hurt. My take is you need to navigate this because you're stuck with these mean girls and you are their parent. I wouldn't want them calling me mom either because you don't treat your mom that way, but we all know they are being influenced by bio mom and you need to be the bigger person in this situation. Be the positive influence on them, but set those boundaries as to how you will accept being treated. Also, kick your husband in the rear. Cornelius Livager says, they told you repeatedly that you're not their mom. You're just finally believing them. They are absolutely old enough to understand that relationships aren't a switch you can flip on and off whenever their bio mom decides to show up. Your husband is a bit of an a-hole here for not backing you up, not the a-hole. And Artistic Being 7421 says, understandable reaction, especially considering what they said to your son. However, please don't close the door permanently, long enough to teach them a lesson, but not long enough to damage your relationship with them forever. You are their constant. Don't take that away from them. Just teach them a lesson on appreciation, respect, and consequences. OP's edit. I also want to put, I don't blame the younger one as much as I blame the older one, as she should know better. And I understand things with parents are hard, but I was younger than her when I cut my father off, and he was similar to how their mom is. The rose-colored glasses should be faded or fading by now, and she's old enough to understand. Alright, well, the community had different opinions, but I don't agree with the first two. Those just sound as excuses to me. Sure, the mom is probably in their ear, but they're also old enough to know what's hurtful and what's not. So now, let's move on to the update to see how this story ends. I'm back with an update, and before I give the update, I want to start by answering a few of the main questions I saw. I saw a lot of questions that asked, why do we allow their mother in their lives? I'm not over that. My husband feels like it's not on him to keep the girls from seeing her. He will ask if they want to, and they say yes. Another question I saw a lot of was, why doesn't their dad say something? He does. He's taken away their things and has tried to have talks with them. They just listen and block him out. This is not the first time I've made consequences for them doing this stuff. Just last time, it was less extreme, as what they said then was less extreme. The reason why he stayed out is because whenever they don't like something I tell them, they run to him. He has said he does side with me on this, but feels I was too hard on them. Now, the update. A few days after I posted this, my husband and I sat down with the girls, and I told them that I was sorry for what I said and that I worded it wrong. I told them I still view them as my kids, they just aren't allowed to call me mom anymore and have to call me by my name now. I don't want them to be confused on who to call mom when they want to please their bio mom by calling her mom and then trying to use the word mom as a weapon towards me. Also, I can choose what I want to be called the same way they can. They have been calling me by name for weeks by choice when their mom was around. I'd rather they continue and their mom can have the word mom. I also told them that our relationship is broken and I didn't break it. I did help a little, but they broke it. And if they wanted it back to how it used to be, they would have to rebuild it. I also told them they had to play with their brother for 3 hours and apologize to him. He's 4. This will be their way of an apology to him. Again, he's 4. If they apologize, he's going to say it's okay and then continue to ignore them. They had a few more punishments, but we did talk to them and try to figure out what the bio mom says that influences them so much. We got the answer of, I don't know. We told them that they can't be easily manipulated, and especially the 16-year-old with her going to college soon and trying to drive. So we talked about things that could happen with that. We also told them that they can't just say what they want to people and expect things to stay the same, especially if it's stuff that hurts people. They apologized for the things they said and how they acted and said they wanted things to go back to normal. I told them that I would forgive them when they did the stuff with their brother first, and that if they want things back to normal, then they would have to work for it. From what they said, they don't want to see their mom for a long time, so they will go to their therapist soon and talk to her about this. Well, OP, it's a way forward. You extended an olive branch and apparently there's something there. They're gonna have to work for it, as you say. I agree with that. So here's wishing you guys the best. Take care, OP, and thanks for sharing. And now let's finish this video with a mood booster post. This post is from the subreddit Malicious Compliance and it's by user Gingaz in Paris. You want me to participate in the weekly all hands? No problem. Several years ago, I worked for a small solar company that was acquired by what is essentially the Walmart of solar. We went from weekly in-person meetings on a schedule that worked for both management and staff to daily check-ins, weekly department calls, and other unnecessary regional calls and meetings. What was initially 2 to 3 short meetings per week turned into around 10 45-minute to an hour meetings per week. My responsibilities were about 20% in office, 80% fieldwork. Some of the locations I needed to get to were an hour plus away, and a lot of times I was crunched to get to 5 or 6 locations within the workday. For as long as I could, I would either skip a call if I was in the field, or I would listen and not participate, so I was on the call but could still take care of whatever task I needed to. I ended up getting reprimanded and told to just park and take the calls, but I needed to participate in all of them or I would be written up. So that's what I did. If a call was happening, I would find the closest parking lot, take the call, and participate. This company also scrutinized overtime and hours, so we couldn't work overtime without approval. This meant if I didn't get something done, I would just head back to the office and reschedule it the following day. My co-workers did the same, and our productivity dropped overall by about 60%. Within a month, our regional manager was in our office asking us what the F was going on, and we told her directly that we have a large region to cover and most of these calls are nonsense corporate feel-good BS. If they wanted productivity where it was before, they needed to cut the meetings because meetings don't improve metrics. Actually being able to work does. They did cut our meetings, but it turned into a crap show when big company fully took over. That office is now officially closed because while we had the second best metrics in the entire company, we were tired of the BS and we all quit, and they could not replicate our quality or quantity of installations in that office. Ah man, OP, I thought you guys almost had it, but then big corporate stepped in and effed it up again. That honestly just reminded me of that scene in Office Space when Peter tells the Bobs that he's got 8 bosses. Anyway, OP, you moved on to better things. Thanks for sharing. And that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch it. Now, if you've gotten to this point in the video, I assume that you like these stories that I'm reading out. So here are a couple more that you might enjoy. And if you don't have any time to watch another story right now, save it for later. And also, don't forget to hit that subscribe button.